On today's Question of Faith, has anyone seen our billboards? Hey everybody, this is Question of Faith. I am Mike Hayes. I'm the Director of Young Adult Ministry in the Diocese of Cleveland.
And I'm Father Damian Ferentz, the Vicar for Evangelization.
And I'm Mary Bonino, the Executive Assistant in Parish Life.
Houston fan.
And I'm Calla Gill, Creative Project Coordinator.
Two guests. Uh-oh.
Yes, our first time with having two guests on the show.
Getting crowded in here.
Yes.
It's awesome. It's good to have you, though.
So, anybody see our billboards? What are we talking about?
Well, when you ask the question, someone could take it as like someone stole the billboards. Has anyone seen them? But no, I don't think so. So,
strapped it to my back, carried them off.
Not only are Calla and Mary part of Parish Life Secretariat, but they're also part of the Eucharistic Revival team here in the Diocese of Cleveland.
Yeah.
And one of our endeavors has been a billboard campaign. We've not done this before, but we're trying something new. And I'll actually go back to how this idea came to be. So I met Bishop Malesic 3 days after he was installed, and then the next day I flew to Rome, and I was there for the next 10 months before I finished my dissertation and came home. And I only talked to him one other time between that first time and the time I came home, and that was when I got a Zoom call, and he wanted to ask me about being Vicar for Evangelization. And I remember asking, like, what do you see me doing? And he said, I just want to get the gospel out, whatever it takes. I'm billboards, and then he mentioned some other things, and that billboard stuck in my head. And so when we were talking about how can we get people interested in the Eucharistic revival and to consider the Eucharist, I had an idea. Maybe we could get billboards, and then Calla had just come on board as creative project coordinator, and Mary just graduated from the Catholic University of America just this past spring. So I asked them if they would help one do the design and the other find the quotes, and now we have 33 billboards going up covering the 8 counties, and it'll start this very week, each with a separate quote on the Eucharist. So that's what we're talking about with the billboards.
And 33.
Mary or Calla, you want to explain?
So 33 billboards is the number Father Damian threw out, and each one represents one of the years of Jesus' life, because Jesus was 33 years old when he died and was resurrected from the dead. So
Nice.
It's very medieval.
It is the medieval loved numbers, and Augustine loved numbers, and I love numbers too. So numbers for everything. So yeah, 33 is cool. One of my priest friends also said, "Is this like the 3 billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri? That film that came out back in 2017?" But no, not 3 billboards, 33 billboards.
Yeah. And so you guys worked really hard on this. Tell me a little bit about your process. Like, you had to come up with all these quotes and.
So Father Damian asked me first to find these 33 quotes, which was actually a little more difficult than I anticipated. Finding quotes that are short enough for a billboard that can be read very easily by drivers, and also just finding quotes from saints that explicitly talk about the Eucharist in some fashion. We have a lot of writings from great saints, but whether or not they actually wrote on the Eucharist, came up with 33, so.
Yeah.
nice.
One of the things that's great too is that we not only have quotes from saints, but that go all the way back to Christ himself and then Ignatius of Antioch from the 2nd century. And we didn't put the letters ST or the word saint before, because part of the idea here is this is a campaign of wonder. We want people to look at these things and go, who's that's that old and talking about the Eucharist, you know?
So then in terms of the design for the billboards, I had a lot of fun with these, but one of the challenges was kind of incorporating a couple of different brand identities together into something that was really cohesive and all-encompassing, because we have the national branding guide, and then we have, kind of what we came up with in the diocese itself. So the billboards feature our Eucharistic Revival logo. So that's the big square logo image that features the chalice and the host itself. And it's the gathered, blessed, broken, shared logo that you'll see. And that's very prominent on every one of the billboards. But then you'll also see tied in with it some of the branding of the gradient behind it. So some people may think of it as like a rainbow gradient, but it's actually like a red, orange, blue kind of gradient. it's just really pretty, and it kind of just really makes everything kind of pop. But just putting all of that together. But 33 different styles was a little bit of a challenge because I made like 6 of them, and I'm like, these look really good. And I was like, how am I supposed to make
5
so many
times as
more?
many.
So a couple of them have a very similar style, but most of them I tried to do something a little bit different for each one. So
We should say that we came up with our diocesan logo before National came out with their logo and gave us their colors.
Yeah.
So Kayla did a really nice job. This is why she's the creative project coordinator, bringing those two together. And it's a really nice iteration of the Catholic both and. Kayla, on some of these, it looks like torn paper. And what is the
Yeah.
gradient you mean? Is the gradient that fabric-looking
So
stuff?
the gradient is the color behind. So there's like a central gradient where like the blue is in the middle and then it goes out to a lighter color at
see.
the end. But then there's also this one where it features like it goes from like yellow to orange to red, orange to purple to blue.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
And how about the hashtag? Talk a little bit about the hashtag.
Yeah, so the billboards also feature, so down towards the bottom it says join the revival, and it says hashtag EucharistCLE. So we are asking everyone we want to get a lot of people involved. We want to kind of share the excitement with everybody. So we're asking that people that see our billboards maybe take a picture of it and share it through the hashtag EucharistCLE on social media. We just want you to share your excitement. And yeah, we're going to do it too, but we're asking that everybody does it kind of safely. Like, don't take pictures while you're driving.
Right. Pull over.
Or ask a friend to take the picture and then share it on social media. Because we're excited about them, and we would really love to see people interacting with them in public. So.
Yeah.
So the Eucharistic Revival has a few phases, and this first phase is the diocesan phase, and that's why we're doing a lot of this work, but we want it to be interactive with people who are seeing it. And the idea here in phase 1 of Advent is we're taking quotes of saints, and we're hearing about the Eucharist through their voices, and at the same time we're doing a video campaign on our social media and having priests answer the question, what does the Eucharist mean to me? During phase 2 in Advent, we're going to be doing quotes from local people and then videos from people who work in this building and giving testimony to what the Eucharist means to me. So we're leading this from an upper level, diocesan level during this phase with the hope that we model it well so when we hit parish phase this summer, that parishes will start sharing their testimonies too in the bulletins, on their social media, and be creative in all sorts of ways. So we're trying to create a buzz, a stir about the Eucharist here in the diocese.
Yeah, and so we have all these stories of saints, and we want people to share their stories as well, right? So how would I do that if I wanted to share my story? What would be the process?
Right. So as Father Damian mentioned, this Advent campaign is campaign 1 of 2. So we're going to launch another campaign with very similar, if not the same, 33 billboards for the season of Lent. But we want those to feature your stories, your testimonies. We want active people in the Catholic community to go to our website. You can go on dioceseofcleveland.org. And it's Eucharist-Revival /share your story. But we're also going to do like a social media campaign. We're going to share this more. And I think, Mike, we talked about putting that link in the caption also. So,
Yeah.
But we want you guys to share your stories of how the Eucharist has touched your life personally. So we have a form available online, and you could just go there, submit your name, your parish, and then just give a quick little blurb of your personal testimony for the Eucharist. And it may or may not be featured on a billboard, which is the exciting part.
Super exciting. So imagine the Eucharist is the center of my life and the center of my engagement, because Mary Bonino just got engaged recently.
That's right.
And then it says Mary, Independence, which is Independence, the city in which she lives, and then your birth year dash. And then someone drives by, and this billboard's up in Independence says, who is this Mary who lives in my town who's quoting this about the Eucharist? It's really provocative stuff, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that'll be fun. And where are these billboards featured now? They're all over the diocese?
So they're all over the 8 counties of the Cleveland Diocese. So we worked with Lamar. Shout out to Lamar. They did a really great job of helping us to make sure that we had some kind of a presence with a billboard in all of those 8 counties. So they're kind of
They're
kinda all
shotgunned all over the diocese. But I will say we have, I think, 3 in Spanish that are in Hispanic neighborhoods. We have 1 in Italian. It's a quote from Francis of Assisi. Did you do the translation on that, Mary? Or?
I ran it through Google Translate and then used my 3 years of Italian to make sure the
great.
translation was correct.
You speak Italian very well. I mean, I don't know if it's accurate or not because I don't speak Italian, but I heard you talking Italian the other day. I was like, wow, that sounds really good.
Molto bene.
Well, and Little Italy does not have any billboards according to their code, but right outside Little Italy there are. So if you're driving in, you'll see a billboard there. And then we have one in Vietnamese that's going to be in Asia Town, which will be really cool too. And it's gonna be awesome. There's definitely a momentum that's building here and an excitement that's building. So
yeah, it really mattered to be able to reach all of our brothers and sisters throughout all the different types of our Catholic communities. So we really wanted to make sure that they also. I mean, it's not common in the Cleveland area to, be walking down the street and see something in Vietnamese or, so we're hoping to be able to catch them in a way to be like, hey, we love you guys and, we did this for you kind of a thing and tell your friends, basically. So.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah, we'll have to check all these out. As I'm driving around now, I'll be a little more observant as I drive.
I may even try. We have a map. I may even try to see all 33 of these. Just because, and I think it's going to be exciting for Catholics to see something from the diocese that's bold, that's creative. There's my favorite quote in there is the one you found from St. Ambrose. If it truly is the bread of life, why would you eat it only once a year?
Oh yeah, if it's daily bread.
Yeah, if it's daily bread, why would
you eat it?
Once? That's it. If it's daily bread, why do you take it once a year? I think that's hilarious.
Yeah.
And then Ambrose of Milan, 339 to 339 to 397.
Yeah.
And I think for people to say, my gosh, these Catholics have been going at this for 2,000 years. That's a big part of what we're trying to do too.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone should do a little Billboard Pilgrimage. That would be a good idea. See if they can capture all 33 and then send them to us. That would be fun.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
There's my challenge to folks.
There it is. Billboard Pilgrimage.
Walking pilgrimage.
Oh, Mary.
It would be like catch them all.
Yeah.
Take a picture, catch them all.
And a lot of
hashtag.
people forget that our diocese is eight counties.
Yeah.
So that we made our way down to Wayne, Ashland, Medina. We have not forgotten about you and making sure that we're very present down there too. So if you're down there and you see the billboard, take a picture. And we're going to be even more active than we already are on diocesan social media, liking your things, retweeting them, reposting them. So let's build a momentum up. Again, hashtag EucharistCLE.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. All right, so those are our Billboard campaigns that are going on. So we often go to a church. And so, Mary, I know you did a little visit the other day to a church out in Parma, right?
Yes. Last night, my roommates and I, we went to St. Charles Borromeo. They have a 7 p.m. Mass last night, and it was very lovely. It's a very beautiful church.
Yeah. Gorgeous. Built, 19. That's my home parish. I grew up 3 blocks south of there. I was raised at St. Wendelin, but later on in life, Charles became my permanent home. And I think the church was built in 1923, or at least the parish was founded then. But yeah, beautiful. It's the heart of that community right there, and I love Mass in the evening. That 7 p.m. Mass is great.
Yeah.
Who had the Mass? Do you remember? Was it Father Josh Korak, Father Kevin Fox, Father Jack Carlin? You got 3 priests there.
I know it wasn't Father Kevin Fox.
Okay.
So
Okay.
one of the other two.
Okay. All right. That's
Older,
cool.
younger.
Do you have glasses?
That would tell the difference there. It could be someone visiting too, I suppose.
No idea.
Was there music last night? Because sometimes they
no,
have. Oh, okay.
there was no music.
Yeah, there's a festival of praise, although I think the person who used to coordinate that is now in the seminary, so I'm not sure if it's still going on or not. I have to check.
Well, they used to have an organist at 7 p.m. too, and it was nice because it was one of the few evening daily masses, and there's a lot of people that go to it.
Yeah.
And currently, one of our deacons, who's going to be ordained a priest, God willing, this May, his sister, who studied art in Italy, is repainting the walls for the shrine to Mary and the Good Family on either side of the main altar. I don't know if you saw those were covered.
Yes.
That's Sarah Liptak's hard at work there. A local artist who studied in Italy, who's now sharing her gifts with the church. That's St. Charles is turning 100 years old this year. So.
That's awesome.
And we're still in the season of Advent, and the Gospel tells us, when he saw many of the Pharisees and Sadducees coming to his baptism, he said to them, "You brood of vipers, who warned you to flee from the coming wrath? Produce good fruit as evidence of your repentance, and do not presume to say to yourself, 'We have Abraham as our father,' for I tell you, God can raise up children to Abraham from these stones." Oof.
Well, it's always important to keep in mind that Jesus loved everyone, especially the Pharisees and the Sadducees, but sometimes you challenge those you love because you want to call them to be holy. And so our Lord was willing to do that too.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the John the Baptist part too today. It says, that John the Baptist says, "Prepare the way of the Lord, make straight his paths."
Yeah.
And it gives a description of what he wore, the camel's hair and eating the locusts and all that stuff.
Yeah,
so
with
fun.
honey, though. You can't eat locusts without honey.
Yeah, you need the honey. You got to
dip them in there.
Yeah, that's always good.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that is the gospel for this coming Sunday, the second Sunday of Advent. So we're getting closer to Christmas.
Cool.
Giddy up.
It's exciting. So are the billboards. They're super exciting. The other thing about these billboards, hopefully they get people interested in coming back to Mass or Mass for the first time in a long time. A lot of people who were pretty active coming to church on Sundays since COVID, a lot haven't returned. And maybe this is a way to get them to think about what they're missing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come home at Christmas kind of thing, too. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we have this is the longest Advent, right? It's a full Advent season because Christmas is Sunday.
Yeah.
So 4 full weeks of Advent this time.
Yeah, that first Advent candle at people's kitchen tables is going to be burning all the way down to a nub. Yeah.
Thanks for all your hard work on these billboards. That's a lot of work, number one, and I'm glad that you'll get to actually see some rewards there when you see them go up. So that'd be great.
And although you can't see Kayla and Mary on the podcast because this is an auditory event, if you do look on our social media, you'll see a little promo video that they do, so you get a sense of who they are. Younger faces in the Diocese of Cleveland, new faces to the diocese, so it's great to have you guys around.
Yeah.
Yes.
Enjoy being here.
Yeah, it's great to have all of you around too, so continue your Advent journey, and we'll see you all again next time on Question of Faith. Ciao.